Okay, class, picking up where we left off at, we need to do this by hand, and also we need to do this by calculator. So doing this by hand, this is what we would need to do. P of T stands for the percent of U.S. households with computers. So if we're doing this by hand, we know P of T would have to be 100, because that would mean 100% of households would have computers. So we would have 100 is equal to 437T minus 142 all over 1.30T plus 94.02. Now again, we're trying to find out when this will take place or when it's predicted. So what we would do here is we will multiply each side by this denominator. Because remember, we want to get this, we want to get rid of the denominator. So I'm going to write it behind the problem because I didn't leave myself enough room. So it still would mean the same thing. So we would take 100 times this parenthesis here. This will give us 130T plus 9,402. And that will equal to this denominator, and this value would simplify out. And that will leave us 437T minus 142. Now again, we want to get T by itself. So what we could do is we could subtract 437T from both sides. And that will give us a negative 307T plus 9,402. And that will equal a negative 142. Now we will subtract 9,402 on both sides. So we add negative 307T, and that will give us a negative 9,544. Now we will divide each side by negative 307. Then we will use our calculator here. So we would take, well, we know a negative divided by a negative is positive. So we could just type in the numbers without the negative sign since we know our answer is going to be positive. So this would give us 31.09 if we round to 2 decimal places. So T would be approximately 31.09. Now, we wanted to find out what this means in terms of what year. So we would take 1990 because this is what it's from. And then we would just add 31. We don't have to add the 09. So that would give us in 2021. That would be our final answer. Now, any questions on this before we move on how to do this in the calculator?
No, I just have a question.
Yes.
Where we're subtracting 9402,
yes.
Is that 94.2?
No, it'll be 99,402. Because
okay.
Remember, here we multiplied this by 100.
Okay.
And that moved the decimal 2 places to the right. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you how to type this in your calculator. I'm basically going to take out a little box here. Okay, so first of all, your y sub 1 would be 437T minus 142 all over the 1.30T plus 94.02. This would be your y1. Your y2 would be 100. Now, if you look here, if you look closely here for the calculator, this is what we had here before we multiplied each side. We had this fraction equal to 100. So we put this in as 2 separate equations. So you put this in your calculator. Okay, class, we know that we would type this in the calculator. I took the liberty of typing this in the calculator. So what you could do is copy what I have here. If you notice, I have 2 parentheses, 2 open parentheses, and then I typed in 437, and then I put X. X is this key here next to the alpha key, and then minus 142. Then I put one parenthesis, one closed parenthesis, then division, and then another open parenthesis. Then I typed in the denominator to be 1.30x plus 94.02. And then I would do a double close parenthesis. Then press enter and then type in 100. Now you will press graph. And this is the graph that should show up. But we want to find the intersection point. So what you could do is this here. You could go to second, trace, and then you will hit the number 5, and then enter 3 times. And it gives us this here. So we will write our ordered pair. We'll write it here, which would be 31.09 when we round the two decimal places, comma 100. Now, you still will write the same answer. It still will be in 2021. This is still the final answer, whether you use a calculator or whether you do it by hand. Now, are there any questions? Okay, we are done.